Everybody, welcome to SMO. This is going to be the security monitoring and operations class. All right, so this is the online section. Obviously, a lot of your classes have switched over to the new Blackboard Ultra. This is the same. I'm going to just take you through the course. I'm going to take you through some of the things that you can expect with the course and kind of get you going. So that's the idea for today's video. This is the overview video. So first off, I'm just going to start with the welcome and start here. We've got different items, so you can click through these items one at a time. I'm just going to click on the syllabus. Syllabus is just going to be an overview of the course, what to expect, outcomes, objectives, stuff like that. So, advisor support. Ashley is our advisor. Ashley is an awesome student advisor. If you're having issues with courses, having any type of troubles this semester, dealing with things with, your registration courses, financial aid, any of that, Ashley would probably be your first point of contact. Questions with the class, I'm your first point of contact, right? So you're having an issue, reach out to me with the class. But like registering for next semester, stuff like that, Ashley would be the perfect person to help you make sure you're registered for the correct classes. So anyways, I just want to let you know Ashley's there for you. Really good resource. So the syllabus is just an overview of the course, all right? So it basically breaks down the grading structure, everything that you need to know about the course is in here. Typically, what people care about the most is the calendar, all right? There is a calendar in here, but I do have a weekly calendar broke out because that's what everybody cares about. So instructor information. Again, this is me. This is my contact information. Email is the best way to reach out to me. Some people use Teams. You can shoot me a Teams message, but email probably is better. I'm bombarded with Teams messages from every single sub-team, committee. All of that stuff hits my Teams, and I've got tons of notifications. So sometimes things get lost. Email never gets lost, right? For me, my inbox, I like to keep it empty. If it's in my inbox, I deal with it, and then it's dealt with, right? So just letting you know, you can do what you want, but that is the fastest way of getting a response from me is through email. And then the weekly calendar. So I'm working through this, all right? I taught the class for the first time last semester. I taught it as is. This semester, I'm trying to kind of align it more with the way that I teach my classes and the ways that I'm feeling more comfortable teaching. So the one thing that I did is I started laying out the calendar in a weekly format. So you may see things, you will see things in a weekly format and a unit format. It doesn't necessarily matter that much, but for me, we've got 18 weeks. We're going to work through each week. Each week you're going to pick up and be like, okay, what do I need to do? So this kind of gives you an alignment with what week we're currently in, what needs to be done this week, when it's due by, how many hours it's going to take you to do it. All right, so that's kind of the way that I like to just lay things out. After you've read something, done something, one thing that I do like with Blackboard Ultra is once you're done with it, you can just check it off. Like, okay, I know where it is. I've seen it. I can go back to it. That's just a nice way. They also give you a next button. So if you don't want to click here, you can click up here. It's like a wizard. It'll just take you through the next thing. If you've got in-person classes, this is online, so this doesn't necessarily affect this class. But if you do have any in-person classes, these are the dates that those classes won't be meeting this semester. Just heads up, I like to put that in there. And both of your books are inside the Getting Started section. So just so that way you know. And you can check all these off, right? So as long as you know, you're good. That's just what you need to know. So now, they didn't check, but I'm not going to open them right now. All right, so your book's in there, your handbook's in there. Unit 1. So same deal. We're going through this. So there's going to be things that we have to do. The way that I like to lay my classes out is I like to do an overview video. I did this last semester. I'm still trying to align things. Things may shift a little bit, but nothing significant. And I'm leaving the gradebook alone. All right. So just so you know, I'm not going to remove assignments and stuff like that, but I am going to try to clean things up, streamline things as I work through the semester. I do overview videos of what to expect in the week. All right. So the layout for this will be last semester, which was not Ultra. And these videos are going to get updated as well throughout the semester. So you may see videos change as we go through them. But one of the first things you're going to have to do, okay, so you're going to go through, you're going to do some LinkedIn learning, You're going to watch a video on performance and when it's important to be absolutely correct and when it's sometimes okay to be somewhat correct, right? So there is differences. Good video. Goes through National Cyber League, all right? So within the Unit 1, you're going to have to do a couple of things. First, you gotta just let me know, hey, I read the syllabus, I saw the calendar, I know what to do, my book links correctly, I can get to LinkedIn Learning, everything is functioning the way I expect it to function. That's the first thing. The second thing is how do you want to do your classwork? So this is a group-based class. So you will be doing group work. If we go back over to the calendar, or even look at the units. All right, so this is interchangeable. All right, so the first 8 units are all individual. So you're going to go through, you need to understand what a STEM is. You're going to have to understand how logging works. You're going to have to do some red teams, some blue teams. So you're going to do a lot of different activities in unit 1 through 8. And that aligns up to about week 10. And then once we hit week 11, then you're going to start going through the project, all right? So if you're going to do the traditional approach, all right, you're going to just do the class as the class is laid out. You'll be put into a group, and the group will have to come up with some type of project, all right? So you're going to pick up some type of business. You're going to pick out some activity, all right? So maybe you're an educational, maybe you're law enforcement, maybe you work for an accounting firm. All of those places function differently. They all have their own legal statuses on how we deal with data. For example, education, we've got FERPA. If it's a medical, then you're going to have like HIPAA. All right, so you've got different standards of security compliance that needs to be thought through. All right, so you're going to come up with a business. Boom. Then the next thing you're going to do, and this is a drive-by overview, right? All of these go more in depth. Next thing you're going to do research on some type of logging, monitoring, event type of software. All right, so you're going to have to do some research on different types of event software. And you're going to have to make a proposal for your industry, what you think the best piece of software is for that. And then you're going to have to do an executive summary and a presentation as a group. All right, so you're going to be doing all group-based activities here. Once you come up with that, then phase 4 is going to hit implementation. All right, so ideally, it would be nice if you implemented the solution that you guys are proposing, but I do realize that all proposed solutions may not be free, may not be open source, may not have an option for you to download and install it, all right? But you do need to implement something that does some form of logging and monitoring and all of that stuff. So, so that's going to be where you're going to do hardware requests, you're going to do the installation, the configuration, the testing, and then you're going to do documentation, and then you're going to do a final report out. All right, so that's the class. That's the whole class, all right? So going back to Unit 1, one of the first things you have to do in Unit 1 is make a decision, all right? Are you going to do the class as I just described it? Or another option could be participating in the National Cyber League, all right? The National Cyber League is a collegiate event where students compete against other students in different activities. So Wendy Diem has been working with the foundation to get funding for that. So if you're just a student, a normal student at a normal college doing normal activities, it would cost you $45. Work with Wendy. She may be able to get you a license for $20. All right. So you still need to pay something to get involved with this. It is a good opportunity to get involved, work with other students. With this, those activities, nobody knows what you're going to get, right? But you are going to need to be in a team again. You guys are going to need to come up with plans, procedures. You're going to have to do individual competitions where you're competing against other students to rank. And then you're going to have to do a team activity where you guys are going to need to use your team and your abilities to gain points against other colleges. All right, so that's the way that this works. And then there'll also be an activity where the teams will go head to head and compete against each other. All right, so that's option 1. So a little bit more unknown with that, but it is a good opportunity to participate in. So you're going to have to make that decision which way you want to go. You need to do that early on so that way I can get you guys into the group so that way you can start creating those relationships with each other. So that way, once we get to the second part of the class, then we can really start to drive into that. Okay. So anyways, that is the course. Basically, if you run into any issues throughout the course, let me know. Some things are hard. I try to help you guys out with support videos. So there will be times where you're going to have to do net labs. You'll have to go through and do labs within net labs, which is an environment. Some things you're going to have to connect up with our internal VM infrastructure, connecting to your virtual machines. So I've got information on how to do that. So based upon your operating system, by this point, I'm imagining everybody's had VMs and you're familiar with the VM infrastructure. And then finally, you will have to do some DMZ activities. Some of those are challenging. I do try to give you hints and tips. I know Wendy DM is trying to give hints and tips as well. And this is where I'm going to go through some of this stuff and refine that and make sure everything aligns better. So this is unit 4, which is probably going to be, so we do have some work weeks. If I look at the calendar, wrong calendar. So there are certain weeks that are lab weeks. All right. So that's why the weeks and the units don't hook up perfectly. But you may see me swap out units to weeks at some point. But anyways, we do have, like, if this is going to be more intensive, take more time, then I make sure that I pump that due date back so that way it gives you an additional week to work on it. So when you're looking at the calendar, just know some are lab weeks. Week 9 always is going to be a work week. And then once you get into the projects, working with your team, obviously some, research and project proposals and stuff like that are going to take more time to get all created and written and stuff like that. So we have more work weeks in there as well. So anyways, I know it's a lot of information. Just enjoy the class, go through this. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Thank you for taking the class, and I will see you in the videos. All right, you guys have a good one.